Hi everyone, welcome back to ITOM batch 5 day 17. How are you doing guys today?
Morning, Ajay. Doing good. How about you?
Good, Pawan. I'm also doing good. Thank you. Okay, so let's get started. So again, before starting today's session, any questions till now, whatever we have covered from anyone? Okay, I can take silence as a no. So today we are going to discuss about the vCenter discovery as well as router discovery. So anyone remember what credentials type or what port we require to router discovery? I think that's I covered in prereq of that network device discovery.
Port 443
For router discovery.
router discovery. Okay.
Anyone else? Guys, that will not work, That's basic things, right? So no issues. Let me share my screen and let's get started. Let me know once that you are able to see my screen.
Yes, Ajay, I can see your screen.
Okay. For router discovery, or I can say the network discovery, or I can say the SNMP types of device discovery, port 161 UDP we required. Which port? Port 161. Only one port we required to discover the router. Router means a device which routing the data or routing the connections to the switches, and then it's going to be work with our systems. And apart from that, network devices when I say, so all type of network devices, that can be router, that can be switch, that can be load balancers, that can be firewalls, etc. And the SNMP device is the same. We also called simple network mail protocol. I think I'm just confusing a little bit that full name of this one SNMP, but SNMP devices also we called network devices, right? So port 161 UDP we required. First, second thing, credentials, right? So credentials, we have it two type of credentials available for router or network type of device discovery, right? If I go here, we have SNMP community string and we have SNMP v3. So here in SNMP community strings, we required only a password. There is no username will be there, right? So only whenever you are asking customer, sir, I need to discover your routers or SNMP or network devices, I need a password. If customer is sharing only a password, a community string, we also called SNMP community string, that one, or SNMP community credentials, that you need to configure here only with the passwords, and that is applicable for v1 or v2 network type of devices, right? So every net in the network sites we have versions, basically v1 v2 is a versions of the network type devices. If the customer have v1 v2, only that type of credentials we required. So let me configure. I have it one credentials available, router cat. I'm just putting the password here and just saving this. And second thing, if customer have network devices SNMP v3 means version 3 devices, so there are a couple of different informations required. First is username, Then authentication protocol. If customer says my authentication protocol is SHA1, then authentication key required. And then privacy protocol, if customer says AES 128, and that privacy key is required, right? So these informations we required if customer is using SNMP v3 devices at their site or network v3 devices, and we have to be check with them, okay, sir, what type of devices you are utilizing at your infrastructures or at your data centers. It's a v1 or v2 or it's a v3. Okay, now that's basically happening, or means that's two things which we required for the router discovery, right? We'll discuss in couple of minutes for vCenter as well, but let's start it with this one. Okay, now I have already saved that credentials. Now let me go back. I'm just leaving this page. I don't have v3 credentials as of now. And what happened? Yeah, I'm going back to quick discovery. Always, anytime you want to discovery, go to the discovery schedules under the discovery, and from here you can do the quick discovery, right? So I need a IP for that. I have started discovery of that device. It is showing it's completed immediately, right? So it basically, as I mentioned, sometimes when we are getting issues, means network connectivity issues, that's the generic error we are getting, right? That IP is not reachable host to, or no response from the target port scanned by mid. And again, if I showcase you the input payload, just to showcase you again, alive and active will be 00, might be. If you see here, active is 0, alive is 0, because our mid server is not able to reach that specific IP on the specific ports to find out. Like, now let me do one more time again in the different way. Let me change the IP if I'm not wrong. This is also the same. It's not reachable host. Okay, let me do one more time in different way now. So that's possible. Sometimes we are getting on the first time when we are triggering the discovery, mid server is not able to reach out, right? But it's, what I observed and what I experienced, that issue sometimes, it's not the actual issue, right? If we triggered couple of time discovery, that will work. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to configure a I think discovery schedules to check that particular one, right? So I'll just click on this one. I'm again going to be configure the router name. I'm going to utilize a mid server. Okay, on demand, I'm putting all versions, everything's done. Let me submit this. Let me open or put the IP. Make ranges. Or let me discover now. Let's see what happened now. I think we are getting still 198.51, 141, 145.211 is not reachable host. Now, can someone tell me what should we do if we are getting this error again and again? How we can troubleshoot from our side? Anyone have any idea?
Need to check whether
I
the
think we need,
host is.
I think we need to check whether the device is that particular device is active or not, means it is power or not, power on or off.
Okay, so how we can check that?
By using the ping in the PowerShell script.
Ping info app, yeah.
Okay,
By using ping and trace it, both we can use, right?
yeah, definitely. So I'm going to do the same thing. First of all, I'm going to add my mid server. So I'm capturing the URL of mid server from here, putting the name of this, let to get connect. It's asking for username and password. Username is learner. Password is again here. Let's continue. So I am in my mid server now. Okay, let's make it up. Meanwhile, I'm also triggering once again because I know that's not the permanent error on this device. I just tried once again one more time. One 9851 145 211 is getting error. Okay. Okay, now I'm on my mid servers. What is my first thing? I'm going to run the command. Okay, the ping 198.51 dot 145.211 145.211. Oh, might be it's not up right. So we are getting request timed out. Might be that machine is not working. That's why we are not able to see that. I'm again going to ping. Let me see. 4 packet chains, 4 is okay, it's not up. But I will showcase you again this one, no issues, right? So basically what I just want to showcase you here today, let me go back to my Excel, basically, right? So two things here on this particular network device, right? So first thing is, first thing on the, okay, let me go to this sheet. First thing on that particular Windows or set that particular router device, there are two ports open. WMI port 135 and SNMP port 161 UDP. Okay, so as you know, based on the priority or based on the hierarchy, if port 135 open on that device and if credentials available or matched, that device will be discovered as a Windows server or Windows device. Okay, but actually the device is router or a network device. Sorry, but actually that the device is a router or a SNMP device, right? So what should we do to discover as a SNMP or router device? Can someone let me know what should I do? Guys, speak up.
Can you repeat once?
Okay, so that IP is a actually is a router device. Okay, But what happens, as you know, discovery triggering based, or this discovery process based on the a simple hierarchy, like on the first time, on the first priority, that is going to check the port 135, and then again checking the different type of ports as well. But if port 135 is found, and also we have credentials available in the table, credential table, and it's discovered as a Windows device, what should we do? Means to discover as a router device. Actually, that IP is a router device. It's not a Windows server, but it discovered as a Windows. Tell me.
So we need to stop the connection between the target device to port 135 from the network side.
Okay, what else? If we don't want to go to the network team.
We need to change the credentials.
Sorry.
Do we need to change the credentials? Like for
No,
Windows
what?
devices, separate
Right. So
credentials, or
if we are changing the credentials for Windows devices,
yeah.
definitely that's going to be impact other Windows servers as well, because the same type of Windows credentials is configured with other Windows.
But we can change the credentials of the router, right? Router discovery, right? We will not change the Windows devices. The other thing, we
Uh,
can change the credentials, right?
Agreed, but router we have credentials available. We don't require to change it.
Okay.
The thing
So
is, simple thing is, uh, just an example. I have two flats, the flat number 101 or flat number 102. I have access of the both flats, right? But when I'm going to my path, flat 101 comes first, and think let's get inside in that one. That's happening here. If you are discovering a device, what I'm mentioning here in the ACCQ, if you see, that's the order basically, right? So WMI, SNMP, SSH, HTTPS, wins and all that's the port finding order. And the same way, credentials checking also will be happening in the classification phase, right? So port find, both port are found, right? WMI is also found here, SNMP is also found here. But still, when it's going for classification or credentials checks, credentials for WMI or Windows server is matched from the credential table. Okay, and the device has been discovered as a Windows server, but actually the device is not a Windows. What is the simple way to do that, to discover in network only or network device only?
so we
I
can
can,
use behavior.
right. I just want to hear that one only, right? So simply what we have to do, we have to be configure the behaviors for such devices. Okay, to discover as a specific network type of devices, means we can configure the SNMP only behavior. That is the first thing. Second thing, we can also reach out to, to for precautions for future. Okay, sir, or the network team, we don't require port for WMI. It's a network Windows, it's a network device. It's not a Windows one. So can you please help me to disconnect or disable the port 135 from Windows Server? That's why, if you remember, I specifically mentioned, when you're opening the firewall policies, make sure that's the responsibility of the network team only, but make sure you have given the specific port for specific device type and mention them. Okay, sir, we need that ports only for Windows Server, that port required for Linux. It doesn't mean ki I have given the ports 100 ports to you and you have opened all 100 ports on all type of devices, which is not belongs to a particular type of class. Getting my point? So that will create issues, and that's basically, we also called server class upgrade or downgrade in ServiceNow discovery as well. If it's found as a network, or sorry, it's found as a Windows and you are downgrading to network devices. So that's automatically happen if you configure the correct behavior, if you know that is network device. And sometimes we don't know it's actually a network device or not, it's actually a Windows device or not, right? So whatever we are discovering, we discovered it, right? And we put it to, that's updated in ServiceNow CMDB, and after that we are sending a report to our customer. Sir, we that device we have discovered, that's a class of it. And sometimes customer is finding, he said it's not a Windows server, it's a router, it's a switch, or it's a storage or something else. Then we have to go with this behaviors to discover it, and next section we have to be disable that firewall policy ports on those one. But before going to that, we have to resolve, or we have to fix it from our side. Okay, so behavior is the one thing to get that discovery done, right? I'm still not sure, because couple of days back I did discovery on that device on my last instance using the same IP, but still not discovering or giving that error. It's little confusing to me. It's also giving the error of password as well. I have one more credentials public one. Let me try this one. And that's the only issue, because it's not reaching out to the credentials in the same IP. That's the only issue, is having the server is down, right? So that's why it's not checking the credentials, it's giving the error. Okay, retry. Let me try one more time, because I'm just little confused why it's not working. It should be worked.
Is mid server is up and running?
Sorry?
So is mid server is up and running? Can you check one?
Mid server is up. Mid server is up.
Okay.
100%. You can check it as well. No issues. Mid server is up.
Okay.
I'm just thinking why it's not working. No, might be there is some issue, or might be that is completely down. No, I think we'll leave it. I will showcase you tomorrow or day after tomorrow once that is up, right? Okay, so that's how basically router discovery works, or there's nothing different type of other logics. Only we just need to remember the credentials type. Only we just need to know the which port is required to be open for that one, right? Now let's go to the vCenter. How many of you know what port is required for the vCenter discovery, or what type of credentials we required?
For the vCenter, I think 4434.
443. What else?
Yeah.
There are 3 ports. 9443 and 5480. These are the 3 ports required for the vCenter. Now, sorry. Now, how vCenter discovery works basically, right? So in simple words, if I say vCenter is manager of managers for all virtual machines, right? So let's understand the behind logic first. So, I think already covered it earlier, but let me rephrase again. You have purchased a physical server, okay? Which physical server have, I can say 100 core CPU, 1000 GB hard disk, or 1000 GB simple RAM or memory. Okay, you have purchased that physical server. Now, two things is possible. You can utilize that high configuration physical server for one application, means you can install a Windows or Linux OS, or and top of it you can run a application, simple application. Okay, that is the one way you can do. Second thing, what you can do, you can install the virtualizations capabilities on that server. So once you are installing the virtualizations capabilities, means VMware software example, VMware, VMware or Hyper-V or Nutanix. Okay, so when you installing the VMware or Hyper-V, VMware from VMware side, Hyper-V is from Microsoft, and Nutanix is again a different, virtualization software or capabilities provider. Right. So once you install that particular one, that particular machines we can call as a vCenter. Right. So example, that machine IP is 9.10.2.2.2. Now what we have to do, we required a vCenter IP or the Hyper-V server IP or the Nutanix IP to discover all the inside it, right? And what happens once we enable the VMware on top of it? So that machine will be created in or split it in ESX servers. Okay, now how many ESX servers we want to split? We can do that, right? So example, we have split it in ESX server 1, 2, or 3. Okay, and top of ESX servers, we can do virtual machine 1, VM virtual machine 2, VM3, VM4, VM5. Okay, okay, sorry. So here you have created 5 virtual machines, here again, right? So that space, that configurations for hardware which we're utilizing, that can be split into the ESX servers, and then again going to be split with the virtual machines as well, right? So now what we can do, we can run or we can install on the virtual machines 15 OS, means 5 virtual machine per each ESX server. So the 15 machines are there. So we can, if we want, we can install the 15 different operating system on it, and we can run the 15 different applications on it, right? Earlier, if it is a physical, we are only able to install one OS or two OS, and only one application is able to run it, right? Now we have split it, and the same thing is going to utilize for the different virtual machines and different application purposes, right? So how the hierarchy will basically build, right? So the first is example vCenter. So that's my vCenter IP. Then we have ESX server 1, ESX server 2, ESX server 2, or ESX server 3. Under one ESX servers, we have 5 virtual machine, here we have 5, here we have 5. So all that machines and all ESX servers, we have different IPs. Might be the ESX server IP is 10.1.1.1. Okay, here the ESX server IP is 10.2.2.2.2, and here again the what recent is IP is 10.2.1.2. It's not, because already we have utilized 3.2. Okay, and the same way different IPs for the all different 5 virtual machines, right? So what happens when you are discovering the vCenter? When you are discovering the vCenter, automatically, right, the all ESX servers is going to be discovered, whatever attached to that, and all virtual machines which is attached to that is going to be discovered. And apart from that, there are couple of other virtual component is going to be discovered, means virtual data store. Okay, virtual network, virtual, I can say storage, and there are a couple of other different virtual related things is going to be discovered when you are discovering a vCenter. Now, earlier that's capability is not provided by ServiceNow, but now the capability as well. You can stand alone discover the ESX servers as well. Earlier, what's happened? Only you have to discover the vCenter, and on the vCenters, whatever the ESX servers attached to that, and whatever virtual machine attached to that, you are able to discover it, right? Now, ServiceNow also provided one capability which we call standalone ESX server discovery. So you don't require the vCenter IP. You can directly have the ESX server IP and you can discover ESX server IP, and attached virtual machines is able to discover it, right? The small catch here, whenever you are discovering the virtual machines, that particular record is going to create in virtual machine instance table. Okay, and on that, or the same way ESX server is going to ESX server table and vCenter is going to vCenter table. But in the virtual machine instance table, you are able to see the basics informations of that particular CI. Means might be you are able to see RAM, SDD, or it's on, on or off, or relation with ESX. That's it, right? So that four or five informations you are able to see on the virtual machine instance table. So now you discovered a virtual machine instance table and that information is populated. But again, you have to do the discovery of host as well. Host means actual OS, because all those five virtual machines, what is running? A OS. Windows might be one machine Windows running, one machine ESX is running, one machine is AIX is running, one machine is CentOS is running, and another is again a Ubuntu is running. Okay, so might be the five different machines, five different OS is running. Now they're using the same IP, whatever the virtual machine IPs, you are going to discover the actual host or actual OS, and that record is going to create in the respective classes. Means that record is going to create in Windows, Linux, AIX and all. And also then one more relationships build here, which we call to vCenter, ESX server, virtual machine, and the host. Right. So that how the complete hierarchy are able to see on ServiceNow. So I don't have any IP as of now to discover the vCenter, but that's create a complete top to down hierarchy from vCenters to its connect to ESX servers, ESX servers connect to a virtual machine, and virtual machine connect to Windows, Linux, or AIX and CentOS on Ubuntu. That's how that basically works. Now let me quickly showcase you on the instance as well. Okay, so first is let me showcase you the one moment. Let me one more time. Let me try if it is up or something is running. Let me go to the credentials table. Yeah, here. So if you see this one, VMware credentials, that is for vCenter credentials. Username and password you simply required. Name you can put it here, right? Nutanix, if you remember, sorry, Nutanix, if you remember, we are going to create through the servers or serverless discovery pattern, right? So that's from there that's going to be discovered basically. Okay, and for Hyper-V, you can configure the Windows credentials directly, and that can be discovered, right? So these are the credentials types. If I quickly go to vCenter, what I'm typing here, it's come under the disk configuration item VMware vCenter. Here it's example, we have these two vCenters. one is CAVC and another is WAVC, right? If I open this one vCenter, let me open it. Mhm. Now you can see, as I mentioned, that couple of things we'll be going to discover here. VMware vCenter folders is discovered. VMware vCenter data center is discovered. That's are the virtual machines, manual endpoints. That's ESX servers. So on that particular vCenter, there are two ESX servers. One is ESX01, one is ESX02. Let me open this one. And on below that, clusters is discovered, virtual machine instances. There are a couple of other things is discovered, right? If I just quickly go here on ESX01, this is my ESX01 ESX server, right? If you see on this ESX servers, we are able to see the 65 GB RAM. CPU speed is 3000. CPU core count is 12. CPU count is 2. Disk space is 2000 GB, right? And the same way, another side, we have also the same informations. Means it's a huge hardware configurations we have available. Under that, we have four virtual machine, which is hosts, right? The relationship with host. Here on ESX servers, you can see we have again the folders that ESX servers connected to which data centers, which data store, which entry points, and all other informations is there. But on top of it, we have four virtual machines is there. VM01, VM02, VM03, VM04. Let me open the all four to you. So this is my first VMware and it's on state, right? You can see the CPU is disk size, memory, and network adapter. If you see here, we have huge configuration. RAM is 65 GB, but on the particular VM, we have only 1 GB, one core CPU, one disk, 50 GB RAM memory, and this is the basic informations we are discovering here. The same way, another virtual machine is this, and that's going to be same CMDB CI VMware instance. Right, so these are my virtual machines, which is going to be save in the virtual machine instance table, right? On top of it, again, we have to discover the actual host machine, right? So if I go here and see if is they have discovered the host or not, virtual machine, no. Where we center, no, they have not discovered, right? So let me quickly showcase you from the dependency map as well. So this is showcasing or giving the complete informations about the relationships hierarchy, right? So just let me see this one. Okay, so let me go to the increase the level. So here again in right hand side, this three bars you can click and you can increase the max level. I'm just going to be increased to max 10. Okay, there is nothing change. See, so that's the relationships is showcasing. This is my virtual machine instance 04, which is connected to the ESX server 01, and ESX servers is connected to the VMware vCenter data store this one, and VMware vCenter actually vCenter basically it's going to be connected this one, and this virtual machine is connecting to this particular network, and top of it that particular virtual machine, a virtual machine instance is running, and that's going to be connected with my these particular services, right? So one service map service is configured San Diego wiki, a tag based service application is configured and a prod service, and that's going to be connected with a folder and all, right? So here you can see that complete hierarchy from which device to which device that's connected, and that's we call dependency maps basically, or the relationships basically, right? So if I click here, just quickly one moment, if I click here, you can see that is using depend on used by and use and point to use and point form relationships type. This is using host on host because that on top of that ESX servers, my virtual machine on hosted, right? So that is host on host. That's my network because that connect to connect, right? So network is connected by connect. And now ESX servers is connected with this particular data center. So it's depend on used by. So ESX servers is depend on this and this is using by this. And here it's relationships, for vCenter managed by manage. That's automatically going to be created, right? You don't need to require or manually create that relationships. Okay, that automatically ServiceNow discovery creates and populate in the dependency maps. And we have one more specific table for that, which we called relationships table, CMDB rel underscore ci dot list. This is the table basically which we have or which we are utilizing for the relationships. So if I go back, where it is, yeah, and this what we have opened, let me open this one. So if I go to this particular table, right, if I just type on the parent, you can see on the parent, if it is this particular CI is parent, these are the child, VA network or ESX01, right? But if I put this as a child, so how many relationships having with the parent, right? You can see that's have two relationships depend on used by or use endpoint from the use endpoint, right? And that's automatically, if I go to quickly showcase you the created, and that's created and updated by admin, means I think it's a raw data, that's why it's coming this way. Otherwise that's coming or updated by ServiceNow discovery. Any, first of all, before moving to the next things, any questions in that one? How vCenter discovery works, how the data is populated, how the relationships looks like for that each type of, and that's apply for the each type of devices as well.
So
Any
my question
question?
is like, Ajay,
Mhm.
in which scenarios, in real-time scenarios, if I take X company, in which scenarios they'll use the vCenter discovery?
Every means most of the organizations utilizing that vCenter discovery. Most of the
Okay.
organizations have the virtualization capabilities on their data centers. So I mentioned different virtualizations softwares are available in the market, Nutanix, Hyper-V or vCenter. So whatever they have it, you have to run the discovery for that. But you
Like
have to
for
do the
example,
vCenter discovery.
right now you are uh, opening the mid server in a virtual machine, right? Means
Yes.
vCenter discovery means it will capture this particular virtual machine operating system type and also the devices connected to uh, this device, right? I mean this IP address.
Mm-hmm.
Is it correct or wrong?
No, no, I didn't get you. Come again, please.
Like for example, if you are opening a mid server in the VMware in the virtual machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I am running the VMware discovery, means it will
Mm-hmm.
get the details of this particular virtual machine OS and all the connections that are connected to this virtual machine. Is it correct?
Right, right. But two different things here, right? Don't be confused with that. Basically, like example, as I mentioned, vCenter or that Hyper-V or Nutanix is the on-prem virtualization softwares. Means if I have my own data centers and top of it, if I want to implement the virtualization things, I can utilize this one. Okay, so if the two different things basically don't be merged, right? So if you are discovering vCenter, you are able to discover those things, but end of the day, you have to discover the host as well. Host means actual OS or actual that device on which everything is running, right? So you have to do that. Second thing, like which mid server we are utilizing here, this one that is running on AWS. Okay, so AWS is we called cloud resources. Again, a virtual machine is there, but it's a cloud resources. To discover that one is something different way. I will tell you in the next classes as well. But don't be confused with these two things. Little different only.
Okay, Ajay.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
simple thing is, if you want to discover a vCenter ESX virtual machines, that is discovery done. Means that is done from the vCenter side. Sorry. But the same way you have to discover the but the OS whatever running on it, means Windows, Linux, and all are might be the same IP which is utilized for the virtual machines, and automatically that will create a hierarchy which I just showcase you here. It's not done, but let just simple example to understand कि you have discovered a virtual machine that's connected to the ESX servers, that connected to data store and all, and top of it what is running, the OS is running with Linux. So you can do that. Simple.
Means
Getting my
before discovering the virtual machine OS type, we need to discover the virtual machines right on that particular vCenter.
right, right, exactly. So if
Okay.
you are running the vCenter discovery and after that you are running the host discovery, it automatically create a relationships. It automatically gives you a view. Okay, that's how a complete infrastructures for that particular machine is running.
Okay, Ajay. This
Okay.
all will be done by patterns, right?
All is done by patterns. You don't need no need to do manually anything. I just want
Okay.
to showcase you the relationships table, specifically that case is sometime customer comes to you, okay, and customer says, let me do one thing, let me create a new one. Okay, my parent is this, okay, and I'm just putting a relationships type example. I'm just putting anything, depend on use by for now, right? And I just want to connect a computer. Example this. Customer says computer or a software or a application needs to be built, right? So what I did, it's my parent, it's my child, and the relationships I use depend on used by. And if I come here on the dependency map and just refresh this one, you can see that's one CI added here. So that's my parent. Okay, and that's my child. What Sonic IBM computer I just added, right? So it's automatically added through that particular relationships. But 95% cases, that relationships which I just showcasing you in the dependency map is by default creating by ServiceNow discovery. Only 5% on 10% cases, where manually customer wants to showcase some relationships with some devices, you can come here and you can create the CI relationships. Might be, customer says that particular device you have to connect with, showcase a relationship within a specific application. Let me showcase you an application. One moment. Let me go. No, I cannot do that. Okay, like software. So this is a software, and customer says, sign, you have to be create relationship with this particular software. I can do that. Right, so if I just do that, I can go here and that's updated. Means customer wants to see the clear picture of it, right? So now it just softwares automatically. I just created relationships. So customer comes and asks to do that relationships to us, right? So just remember there's a one table for relationships of the ServiceNow CMDB tables or attributes is CMDB rel CI. That's the table we are utilizing for make a relationship and showcase everything in the dependency map. And in this particular dependency map, you can do in the different ways. Like, it's a vertical one, it's a horizontal if you want to see, means based on understanding of you, right? It's a radial, it's a force, or it's a group. Also, one more thing which I just want to mention here, this particular dependency map, you can control on your requirements, right? You can see that max is 3. Max level is 3. You can put to max 49 level and apply it. If any other relationships is there, that can also showcase, right? Second thing, what CI type you want to. If you want to filter based on the CI DAF, if you want to filter based on the CI type, means you don't want to showcase the mapped application service. You can see immediately that's highlighted. Tag-based services and this one. Just save it and apply it. It's removed from that particular service or dependency map. Right? Don't be confused. It's a dependency map or relationship map. It's not the service mapping. Okay, service mapping is something completely different.
So Ajay, one question. Like
Mhm.
as we discovered the vCenter, it auto discovered the network and storage and other things. We
Yeah.
discover the OS as well, or we need to discover it.
No, we need to discover the OS as well.
Uh,
So vCenter is only, just I mentioned to you, brother, vCenter is only just discovering the virtual list, virtual component things, right? Means example, I just simply tell you the VM1 is discovered through the vCenter. So when you discovered vCenter is discovered, ESX server is discovered, and the virtual machine instance is discovered. But you have to discover the OS as well, means you have to discover the host as well with the same IP of the vCenter. If you go, you have to run the quick discovery from your discovery schedule or the discovery one. So automatically it will create one more relationships like this. vCenter is this, ESX is this, virtual machine is this, and top of it, that Windows server is running, and top of it might be application is running, and top of it database is running. So customer can able to understand and have a clear picture कि this is the vCenter, that vCenter connected to that data centers, and this is ESX server on top of it running. That's the virtual machine, on the virtual machine which we have OS is running, and that's the application and database running. Means it's a complete hierarchy gives for that particular data centers or the vCenter to the customer,
okay,
right? And that's applied for all cases, means Hyper-V as well and Nutanix as well.
okay,
So my what I'm always recommending to the all every pupils, whenever you are going for a start of a discovery, start the vCenter discovery first. vCenter discovery gives you how many host is available in the customer infrastructures which you have to be discover. Means if let me go to this particular table one moment. Here, if you see, we have 145 virtual machines, right? Simple things, if I say all 145 machines also should be available in the respective OS classes. Means might be some are Windows, so that should be available on the Windows. Might be some is Linux, that should be available on Linux, right? So in the total, if in simple words, if I say I need to do the discovery for OS type of devices is 145. If vCenter is correctly populated. Okay, apart from that, physicals is there, network device is there, storage is there. That is one other thing. But for virtual machine related, we have 145 hosts which we need to be discovered. Getting my point? Or it's still confusing?
no, got it, Ajay.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone else? I think we are on the time now, but yeah.
Yeah, Ajay, one question.
So Ajay,
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, Ajay. So basically, once we discover this vCenter, and based on that, our virtual machines would be also discovered automatically, right? We are going
Yeah,
to configure. So our ESX server and whichever virtual machines is connected to that ESX server would be discovered. So
automatically. Yeah.
yeah, so that virtual machine, when you told it is connected to different OS, for example, Windows, Linux, and everything.
Mhm.
So for discovering those, for that also we have to configure the credentials separately, or is it like?
Yes, right. So discovering those devices, we have to be configure the different or separate credentials,
But how do
100%.
we know that which virtual machine is running on which OS? Like once it's done, we have to
So,
do it, or what is the process to do it?
right. So, for that, you are asking customer, your customer, to provide a inventory of all those things. Right, so customer will provide you the inventory of all devices, what type of devices they have it, and what is the IP of it. Based on that, you have, just simple words. If I say, let me tell you one moment. Okay. So this is my IP and this is my this. I'm just putting a simple word, right? So this, okay. Mhm. So these are my things, right? Let me, one moment, let me do one more thing to you guys to showcase you. One moment. Home. I've not used the Excel from last couple of years, right? So basically, I just want to showcase you pivot कर लेते हैं. Okay. Okay. Now, in simple words, if you see here, it's give me a, the how many EAX we have it, how many Linux we have it, how many OS. So that inventory which I just created here, that inventory sheet will be provided by a customer to us. What we have to do, we have to just simply ask, sir, whatever the Windows, whatever the Linux, whatever the OS running on your infrastructures, that is our credentials requirement, which you have to be create on your devices. That thing is whatever I just mentioned, what I just mentioned to you, the list of the virtual machines here in this particular table, that will give you glimpse, means that will give you, we have 145 virtual machines, or what 145 OS host running, which we need to discover. If might be there, might be little more, because there are a couple of physical machines will be there. There are a couple of other type of devices there, but it will, you can correlate, is that 145 virtual machines is there, is, are we able to discover all 145 the host as well, to make a relationship with them devices. So we required a different credentials, right? If I just quickly, one moment, let me show you one more thing. Windows, yeah, and most recent discovery source. Okay, so if you see that is discovered recently, this is also a virtual machine. See, Microsoft Corporation virtual machine. This is the name of it. But if I go to this particular one, means on the virtual machine instance table, where it is, yeah, here, there is no record of it, because we have not discovered the virtual machine. We have directly discovered the host of that device. But process says, first of all, let's go to discover the vCenter or the Hyper-V or Nutanix to get the all virtual machine discovered, and then go to discovery for the host, right? So it's a virtual machine only. But for discover that actual host, means it, we have now, what we have discovered, we have discovered the host or OS. We required a different Windows or Linux or whatever type of credentials. Getting my point now,
Yeah. So
right?
so the process looks like we have to discover the parent, which is vCenter, vCenter servers
Yes.
and everything, and at last we are going to find like discover the servers as well. So sorry, the OS as well. But I'm just confused. Like where do we like how do we start discovering that immediately after that, or like in this relationship only we will get this Windows server, but only the credential part we have to configure?
No. So here, as I mentioned, when you are discovering the vCenter or VMware, it's not giving a virtual machine instance, it's not giving the OS informations to you, right? So for that, you required inventory from the customer side, which help to validate the vCenters or virtual machine you have discovered is connected or it's correctly, discovered the all which you have received from the customer side. And based on the inventory, you have to ask to the customer to provide the credentials access based on the device. Simple. But you have to discover that Windows servers or the actual host which is running on the virtual machines. And once it's discovered or your virtual machine already discovered, it will create relationships automatically, which gives a customer to complete information. Like if I just quickly showcase you this one, if something is there, see, now if this particular virtual machine, Windows server, you have disk is there, network is there, disk 0, disk partition. Now in top of it, if we have a virtual machine running on top of it, ESX servers and the vCenter. So that picture is complete, right? We have understand okay, that's Windows server connected to that vCenter, that sorry, virtual machine instance. That virtual machine instance connected to the ESX server, and that particular ESX server is connected to that vCenter. Getting my point? So it gives the complete idea of complete hierarchy of how or where on which virtual machine my Windows server is running. And in future, if any issue occurs, I can directly log into that particular ESX servers or the vCenter to troubleshoot that one. I don't want to wait for where that particular virtual machine running or where that particular Windows server is running. If something related to virtualization issue.
Okay.
Getting my point?
Yeah, okay. Got it. Just in this case, we have that Windows server and we have all the configurations tied to it. Now it is not connected to any virtual machine. The context
Exactly.
of the context of this means that this Windows server is running on which like what should we interpret? Like where is this server running on Windows server?
Right, exactly. So where on which virtual machine instance it is running, on which ESX server it is running, or which vCenter it is running, we don't know. We only discovered the host, right? But if I want to talk, means end of the day, if any issue comes, how I can troubleshoot? Where, which vCenter or which ESX servers I have to go to troubleshoot? I don't know any picture as of now, right? But
Yeah.
if it discovered properly, we have a clear picture. If any virtualization related issue comes, we can go to directly that particular server and troubleshoot that one.
Okay, this means this server is not discovered properly. Like the hierarchy is not discovered here properly.
Hierarchy is not discovered, but the individual server is discovered properly. For discovering hierarchy, we required vCenter to discover it, right?
Okay.
So from vCenter, we are discovering ESX and we are discovering virtual machines, and then top of it, it's automatically created. Or, sometimes that can be possible, as I mentioned, 95% ServiceNow discovery gives the correct results or correct relationships. But let's take an example, it's not discovered. What we can do, we can go to that particular table and I can create relationships directly.
Okay.
Okay. So let's take an example. What is the Windows? This one is, let me copy this. Okay. So my parent here, I'm just putting this one, this. And it's, relationships type is virtualized by virtualize is something there. Yeah, this one. Okay, let me save this. Let me come back. Let me refresh. Now you can see automatically once I connected with virtual machine, everything is connected, right?
Okay.
So it's my virtual machine that's connected to that Windows server. I mean, I just manually created just to showcase you, right? And top of it, everything is running. But and here it's capturing it's that particular virtual machine, CAVM4. It's connecting to the virtual machine this. And on top of it, that's are the application running on it, right? So it's connected to the vCenter folder, this application, this, and these icons you are able to see this, right? This these icons specifying there is some incident or some issue is running on it, right? If I quickly click on this one, I'm not, yeah, see, there are one change and one incident is running on it. right? This is also giving me some error incident is this is active, cannot log into the server, right? So that will give you a picture, something is running on it, now you have to fix it. Getting my point?
Okay.
So that's for
Yeah.
that particular purpose. It's a dependency map, or we can say, business. I'm just forgetting the name. Business. I will tell you later. Yeah. So basically, that's how is built.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions from anyone else?
So, so Ajay, I want to discover the virtual machines within the host machine of ESX servers. So I don't want to discover the vCenter. Is it possible by discovering the ESX server itself?
Yes, now as I mentioned earlier, you have to discover the vCenters, and only based on that you are able to discover the ESX and the virtual machines. Right now, the standalone ESX server discovery is possible. You can do that. Right, might be just little some different configuration, but you can do that. Standalone ESX server discovery. ServiceNow. You can see standalone, discovering standalone ESX server, ServiceNow community is that available, and you can do the discovery, right? Everywhere on ServiceNow docs is also available. So that's possible. Now you can do the standalone ServiceNow standalone ESX server discovery without any issue. That's
Okay,
there.
but general perspective, without discovering vCenter also, we cannot discover ESX servers also, right?
In general, no, I am mentioning we can do that.
Okay,
We can do the standalone discovery of ESX servers, and based on that, virtual machines and everything will be discovered, right? But we should follow the process. We should go with the vCenter, and then we have to be discover the things. That's my, you know, thing basically. What I follow as a
okay.
process, as a best practices.
So what are the credential name for ESX servers in
I
credential
think
table? Yeah.
that's normal credentials, right? So VMware credentials you can utilize for the ESX servers as well.
Okay, for vCenter also same and ESX servers also same, right?
Definitely, definitely. There's nothing changed because you require a normal username and password for that. So that will also work.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
fine.
think we are over the time now. If any other last question from anyone else? Okay, guys, if we don't have much questions, I think we can wrap up the session now. We'll connect tomorrow. Guys, one last thing, just go do little research on the dependency maps and the relationships. I think we have discussed a lot today, but if you have any questions, anything on that side, we'll discuss more on that side as well, right? And now we are going to the little, advanced side where we are going to create the process classifications and the custom pattern for the devices, what we have to be follow. So you have to little prepare for that as well yourself. Okay, I think that's all for now. We'll catch you tomorrow, same time. Thank you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you. Bye bye.